Hey, 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 and welcome to each and every one of you. It's Sarah Oblak Spiker here. So, yesterday I shared with you 4 specific strategies to help you navigate through difficult decisions that you ought to make as a leader, as a CEO, as the expert who is leveraging and supporting equally your team. Today, I want to dive a little bit deeper in the first one, which is coming from the space of empowerment, love, and infinite possibilities. I'm going to share with you an anecdote from my athletic career. But before we dive in, I want to share with you what inspired this particular live stream right now and why I do believe it's such a timely and important message. So I was on a conference call this morning with somebody who reached out and invited me actually to create a presentation for their audience. I'm not at liberty of disclosing details, but their audience are people who are just like majority of us right now, facing times of uncertainty. They are people who pour their love and creativity into their work, and then they're selling those products to the masses. And what this person who reached out to me invited me for was to help their audience create a blueprint to help them navigate through this time. And one thing that they said in a conversation really lit up a fire, and I was like, wow, this really has to be shared. So here it goes. During our conversation, this person said, one of the things that I know the people are struggling right now is how to live off pennies, how to bootstrap everything, and how to just put their heads down and go, one day after another. And every single cell in my body came to a screeching halt. And I'm sharing this with you from the space of compassion. Definitely not. It's not my intention to criticize or to downplay the seriousness of current situation. But every cell of my body came to a screeching halt because one thing that I do not believe in and do not subscribe to is feeding even more into the stories of lack and scarcity. So I interrupted the person on the other side of the line and I said, listen, this is not my wheelhouse. If this is the topic you need covered, you need to find somebody else. However, this is what I can offer. What I can offer to your community, I said, is helping them look at the other side of the coin, come to the space of their own empowerment, finding their inner strengths so they no longer feel like a candle in the wind being blown back and forth by all the external forces, but finding the space within them, continuously get the flow of creativity flowing, because this is literally what's keeping them alive, and operate from that space, and then helping them create whatever they need in alignment to the bigger vision. So instead of contracting, they can expand. And there was silence on the other side of the line. And then an exciting, yes, this is what we need. Let's do it. So this particular conversation really reminded me of a time when I was an athlete. And like I said, it is a topic that is so needed right now. And I realized it yesterday when I was sharing with you 4 strategies to really step into that power when you have to make difficult decisions. It's like, today we really have the space to dive deeper into what that is. So take pen and paper if you need to. If you need to watch a replay, go ahead. And if you believe there's somebody in your life that needs to hear this, somebody in your community that needs to hear this, please share it with them. This is for you equally if you are a business owner, flying solo, or if you're a leader, CEO, somebody who has been leveraging a team. It really comes down to owning that power and how to find that space in times like this, right? So, like I said, I'm going to start with a story from my athletic career because it really illustrates everything that was going on within myself and how I overcame it, and how I really alchemized that fear to empower my team. So my freshman year, we traveled to a team that we were about to play. And I noticed my teammates, for the whole week of preparing to play this particular team, the tension was in the air. Team members who have been on teams for years before me, they were kind of like, you could see that they were defeated already because, let's face it, as I learned, my team had a losing streak against that particular team for years. They did not win a game. And of course, just walking to the gym, getting ready for the game, you could see the morale was down. You could see everybody was like, ugh, we're going to win. We're going to play. We're going to do our best, but we're just going to lose. And I remember as a freshman, I was sitting in that locker room, and usually I was this shy person, reserved person. I was not the rah, rah, rah. I usually was a person who led by example, not by speaking and cheering everybody up. However, something shifted within me in that particular moment. And I remember sitting there and I'm like, this is not how this is going down. And I remember every cell in my body, I was shaking. I was so nervous because I need to step up. I need to step up. Nobody else is doing this right now. I need to step up. I am not going into the game defeated already. This is not why I traveled 4,500 miles and moved away from my freaking home in order to play a game like this, knowing we would lose anyway. So as I was sitting there, I was looking around the locker room. I was replaying the monologue, in my head. Mind you, I could barely speak English back then, and I wanted to make sure that whatever I say out loud, I say it as correctly as possible. So I'm warning you right now, if you're watching this and if you have little ones around, there's going to be some colorful language. So you might want to put the headphones in or wait to watch this video later when they go out of the room, or send them out of the room. However, like I said, I was sitting in the locker room and I was looking around my teammates and I was contemplating of what to say to them and how to say it so that I could help fire them up, because I was not about to lose that freaking game. And like I said, it was not my nature. This was not my nature. So I looked around and I got up and I stood in the middle of the locker room. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. I am not allowing us to do this. We're gonna do this game. Let's go. And I went around the locker room high-fiving everybody. And I remember a teammate in particular, she was just like, who is this? For a moment. And to me, it was such an out-of-body experience because it was so far out of my character to do that after I was done high-fiving everybody, I did not have the courage to look behind my back to see what actually happened. I left the locker room, I went to the court and I started to warm up. And I remember the noise, the excitement, and something just woke up in my teammates and we came out as a fire. We ended up winning the game, obviously. But it was such a rewarding experience because first and foremost, I had to go into the space deep down. I had to dig up that space of empowerment within me that was so far out of my character in order to empower my teammates who fell down and defeated, who allowed themselves to buy into the stories and past experiences. And this is why I'm sharing this story right now, because it's exactly the space we're living in. When you're a leader, in a time right now, you are going to find yourself in a space where you will need to get out of your comfort zone and way out of your own character and go around and be this guiding force for your team. And you will have to find a space of empowerment, and you will have to find a space of love and compassion as you do that. Because, like I said, they will follow your lead. So even when you have to have difficult conversations and when you do have to make difficult decisions, when you come from that space, it is much easier and it is much more, you're opening this container of abundance and possibilities, and you're creating the space of expansion as opposed to crumbling under the contraction and playing small and allowing yourself and the team to continuously buy into stories and past experiences. So my invitation to you, as I said earlier, bring pen and paper, because here's what I want you to contemplate and really gift yourself with this exercise. Now, this is a very, very, very watered down version of what my clients and I do on a one-on-one work. I do have an exact process that I do take them through, and I do meet them exactly where they are. So right now the process is going to be really watered down because I honestly don't know where you are. I don't know exactly what you need to hear. So if there's something more that you need, please reach out. Let's have this conversation. I want you to be able to lock in that vision and start focusing on what is the outcome you're looking to create and who do you need to become in order to create this outcome. And then as you are tapping into this vision and who you need to become in order to do that, you will start noticing all the feelings, all the stories, all the doubts come up. And this is a beautiful time for you to remove the judgment and simply observe what comes up and write it down and just notice it. And you get to decide whether all those stories are true or not. Whether those are your stories or they have been a part of a programming that you've been through. Are those beliefs that are yours or have those beliefs been passed down into your cradle from the very beginning? You know, there's a lot of perceptions and misconceptions we were gifted, so to speak, from our parents, from our society, from our environment. And right now, even if you're looking at the media, you and I and everybody is bombarded by all the different stories fueled by fear. You and I have a choice not to buy into this fear. And this is exactly the same exercise you're doing as you're tapping into the future. You can buy into the fear of, oh, I can't do that, but who am I to do this? Or you can go deeper and it's like, you know what? Yeah, I can totally do that. So the next thing I want you to tap into is the feelings. You know, we all know that on a vibrational level, we attract whatever we vibrate. So if we vibrate at a frequency of fear, we're going to be attracting more of that. So I want you to tap into the feeling that you want to feel as the person who already is what you need to become. What is this person experiencing? What is this person feeling? And then how can you evoke those feelings? And how can you anchor those beliefs in your current reality? And then the key part is taking aligned action. And like I said, aligned action will not always feel good. Oftentimes, it will feel scary as hell. But this is what is going to set you apart from thousands and thousands of others. Your willingness to get out of your comfort zone, your willingness to go beyond what feels good in a moment, and knowing that what is in alignment might feel very uncomfortable, but you are going to do it anyway. So let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know when you need support. Like I said, this is part of the mindset piece that my clients and I do on an individual basis as we are simultaneously working on their strategic approach to their businesses. It all goes hand in hand. My friend and I were just talking about it yesterday, about the Maslow pyramid of hierarchy. Neither one of us believes in the hierarchy right now. We do believe in the coexistence and simultaneous action and building up simultaneously multiple areas in our lives and fulfilling our multitude of our needs. So this is simply one of them. Before I go, I do want to share with you an experience that my client had. They came to me about a year ago now. And they were in a very similar situation, you know, filled with fear, filled with anxiety, feeling disconnected from who they are meant to become because they have bought into all the stories and past examples and beliefs about them, who they should be. And it was just a huge disconnect. And it was an interesting feedback that they provided because, you know, usually clients say to me, oh my gosh, you're so loving, you're so patient. This particular client, I loved their feedback. They said to me, you lit me on fire over and over and over again, and everything that had to burnt off. But you know what? I'm finally alive again, and everything is sprouting green, and I am internally grateful for that. It was hell, but I had to walk through that hell in order to do that. So what I wanted to share with you, and the reason why I'm sharing this with you again, aligned action is not always the one that feels good in a moment. And as a leader, you have to know yourself enough to recognize the distinction and to find the space within you where you can work through it and go through it and consciously expand your zone of comfort and step into who you might not naturally be until you become that person who you are meant to be to begin with. So thank you for being here. Again, if there's anybody in your life, your communities, your circles, on your team who needs to hear this, please share this with them. And if there's anything that I can support you with, reach out and we'll take it from there. Sending each and every one of you much love.